Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you are with us and you can hear us. We've just had a little mini panic. Turns out I'd put my little soundboxy thing for the mic into the wrong box and it kept telling me we've got no audio. What you like, eh? But hey, hopefully now we are back up and running. Now I'm going to be honest with you. We have literally been in the door all of about 3 minutes and have run round in circles. It's probably a bit of a white lie actually, probably about half an hour. But we are running round in circles trying to get everything ready for this evening's live. So if you give us a moment. I don't know why you're singing. Pete's over there tapping glasses at me because you can see my glass. I have managed to rescue myself a drink. As you can see, I haven't yet drunk any of it. So don't play Guess Who. Just tell me what's going on because that well confused me.
I thought it was a subtle advert for
subtle
a certain
advert
beer
for Stella Artois. Artois? I don't know.
And we're off.
And we're off already with the
Evening
evening of not knowing nothing. So yeah, so I'm not going to lie to you. You're catching us mid kind of chaos. But that's fine. That's the joy of being live, isn't it? I don't want to keep you waiting for hours. So today is, of course, our stockist launch day. It's been a very exciting day today, as hopefully I know lots of you joined us on the craft store. So tomorrow I'm going to try, and I don't know how well tomorrow's going to go because tomorrow's turning into being quite a hectic day. But today I've taken several photos throughout our day to try and share with you what goes on behind the scenes, just a little bit, not major, no like ins and outs of everything, but just a little glimpse of what goes on on a show day of packing up and getting out and all that lot and then getting back in. Because it's kind of bonkers, but it's good bonkers and it's been a joy to be with you all today. But we had 2 shows today on the craft store, to which we brought you the musical collection and we brought you the new stencil vault. Now I have a feeling a few of you might have no idea what I mean by the stencil vault because we literally announced, I think on Saturday, that we was launching the stencil vault. So if you've blinked, you've possibly missed it. But this evening, we will take you through that as well. Now, of course, as I mentioned, this is a stockist launch day. So I cannot go any further without, of course, asking our stockists, if they're with us, to share a link in the comments to tell you where you can get their, I don't know, in the links. In the comments, share a link, if you're a stockist, of where our customers can find my goodies at your store. Something like that. We've been doing this for a lot of weeks, haven't we? We know the game.
I think I agree with Kim's comment. She reckons that's a big glass of wine you've got there.
It's not wine. I don't drink, genuinely. People will tell you this. I genuinely don't drink. I genuinely don't drink. I possibly should, but I don't. So let's do a couple of things first. Let's introduce Peter on hostage cam.
Evening. How we all doing? We
look
okay?
Kind of tidy behind you, kind of.
It's chaos, so no.
So if you look to Pete's right, you will see the Inca bottles that look like they've been attacked. If you look to Pete's left, you're going to see the cards that are in there. If you look lower left, and I'm going to take you away,
here we go. What are you doing?
We can see sneaky bits that aren't out yet. Might be out for a while. So we're going to take that away. Yeah, can't highlight any of that. Coming soon. So, okay, today, as I mentioned, stockist list. So who are the stockists that we know of who already have ordered the goodies we're going to be chatting about this evening? Just in case they're not with us, it's nice to give you a little rundown of places you can go and have a little look around. So, stockists to go and peruse. Cheshire Crafts, lovely Cheshire Crafts, lovely Natalie, does incredible cards, we often share those. The Art of Craft, obviously linked to our lovely John Lockwood. Craft Bliss, Barry and Julie. Gotta love Barry and Julie. Then, of course, we've got Ben at Into Craft. We have got Mandy at Affordable Crafting. And then we've got a new lady, new stockist that we can talk about this week. So new, I don't even know if we've yet put this one on our stockist list.
No, she only ordered last night, this morning.
It's been it's honestly, the last week has been bonkers busy. So if we seem a bit vague, there's reasons, but we're good, all's good. So Unicorn Crafts is our latest addition to our stockist list. We will add all the details to the stockist list hopefully later this evening. I will get Pete to see if you can find a little link and pop that in the comments because it's unfair that we can't link to Unicorn Crafts unless Jane is with us from Unicorn Crafts. And of course, Jane, you can link to us, but it would be nice to make sure you're aware. Our lovely picture stamps in New Zealand have also got this collection en route to them, so keep an eye out for them to announce them. And, oh, that's the next section down. We won't read that just yet. We've got to tell you about our new winner, haven't we? So Pete will find the item that we have won.
No, you're testing me.
Butterfly Elegant Oval.
Oh.
Yeah. So while you're digging for that, I'm going to have a little read through our comments and see who's with us this evening. See who's joining us for our evening of chaos. So we have got Kim, who is with us. Good evening. We've got Alison. Has been a rush day, Alison, but a really lovely day and a really nice day. And the shows at the craft store are really lovely to go and take part in. I'm being honest, the craft store kind of specialise on Monday shows. We could move our Monday night now, but I know that we moved you all from a Thursday night now to a Monday night now, and that's just hassle, isn't it? So I'd prefer to, on the occasions we do the shows at the craft store, to have a bit of a hectic day. So it's a bit more chaotic from us, and it means we're not quite as polished. But it does hopefully mean, not that we're ever really polished, are we? Let's be honest. But it does hopefully mean that on one day you get loads and loads of content, loads of ideas, which is kind of nice. So, evening Wendy, evening Fran, evening Judy, evening Sheila, evening Lynn, evening Teresa, Lou, Mary, Joyce, May. God, there's lots going on. There is lots. Fran, do you see glue on the shelf? You see glue on this shelf somewhere, I should imagine. There might be glue on his other shelf, but no new glues. All the glues are out now. All current and ready and out. Alison says won't put glue on the shelf. They must be spotting some glue on the shelf. I don't know what glue they've seen.
I think I can see it.
Is it behind
I think it's
me?
your to the right, behind you somewhere.
Over
Yeah,
here?
top shelf.
Could be this little glue. Can they see that? Yeah,
that's
they
just
can
done
see
for
that.
Alison, really.
It's just done for Alison.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Oh, Kim, I'm not saying nothing. I can't answer that question. But Christmas isn't far away, is it? So we have to be prepared. Christmas for us will kick off in June this year, of course. So we're not far away from that. And this is something that I know I've gone on about before, but we have to get all the wheels in motion to make sure that when these events happen, that we're kind of ready. So yeah, June isn't far away. Yeah, Judy, it has been a fun day. It's a good day. It's a lovely day. Where else did I get to? I see a question. Where did we see the question? Fran says not long till Easter. It's not. Can't wait for that. Sheila asks, do the stockists have the new stencils which are on the craft store? Yes, they are available from your stockists as well. I'm going to be honest with you because if you know us, we're big on honesty. The announcement of the stencils, I think, went out to our trade customers or to our stockists on about Friday or Saturday, which was very, very, very late notice. They even got an apology with the knowledge that they were coming out. So I know some of them have ordered them, and I know some of them will be having them arrive in the next few days. Being honest, because it is all about honesty, we didn't plan on bringing out the stencil vault just yet. When we spoke to you last week on the Monday Night Now, we said we were working on something and we weren't too sure if it would be ready. Deliveries happened, things fell into place. Not as smoothly as I would have liked them to, but it meant that we could bring you the stencil vault on today's The Craft Store shows. We're not going to be back to the craft store for a few weeks, and it was nice to make them sort of get shoehorned in and out ready today. Hence why we didn't tell you about them on last week's Sneaky Peek, hence why they're going to be a little bit slower getting into some of the stockists. But do have a look around. The stockists have access to them. Some of them have ordered them. Some of them, and I've been a bit out of it today, obviously up and back and forth in cars and things, but they might have already put up that they're coming, even if they haven't got them in the building just yet. They might be saying that they're coming and you can potentially order them. And a lot of them will have them delivered tomorrow for the people who have already ordered them. For others, they will arrive in the next coming weeks. The stencil vault is something we've been working on behind the scenes for a little while. And it wasn't even really, to begin with, something we was going to take on any channel, any format. It was our way of genuinely building up a collection of products to bring out all in one go that gave you a whole hubbub of backgrounds, a whole hubbub of embossing abilities, a whole hubbub of something different to play with, because they're the bits that we need to sort of build on top of. So it was kind of a bit of a move at the end to take them for today's show. So yeah, a little unplanned, but from unplanned comes great fun, doesn't it? So have I missed any questions, Peter? Oh, good evening, Into Craft. Lovely to have you with us. I see today that you announced the collection had arrived with you. Always very exciting. Do you know, it's always kind of nerve-wracking and actually really lovely when you start to see the products arriving with stockists. And I know that you've probably heard me go on about this before in many different stages and many different walks. But the products they come out of here and then they get put out into the world and then they move into here. And then there's a whole part of time where we work with them, we create with them, and they kind of take on a personality and a belonging. And then all of a sudden, it's a bit, I don't know, maybe it's a bit like, to give you an analogy that I don't really know too much about, but you might understand a little bit in my crazy world. Must be a little bit like the first day you send your child into a school or into playgroup or something like that, when you kind of have to go, here you go world, and kind of take a step to the side. And that's a little bit how I feel about launching products, because I love it, I cherish it, it's mine. And then suddenly we sort of go, here you go world, this is out and this is now a product. And it's an amazing feeling, I should imagine, just like giving your child independence and sort of giving them that push. But it's also kind of really scary. And you're like, will they come back at the end of the day? Will they, will they be okay? How did it all go? Was the lunch lady nice? Them kind of questions. And that kind of goes through in my mind when we bring out new products. So, okay, I'm waffling lots and we haven't told you anything exciting yet. So shall we tell you some bits? We did a competition yesterday, and there's lots of bits I need to try and tell you throughout this evening, so I'm going to try and get them all right. But one of the bits we did do yesterday was we launched a competition for somebody to win our elegant oval butterfly die set. And all you had to do was, up until 7 p.m. tonight, 6:59 I think it was, tell us what time our shows were today on the craft store. It was like the easiest competition you could ever imagine, because we've done a video half hour before telling you the times. I don't think there was anyone who didn't get it right, which is brilliant. That's what we need, isn't it? Why set a competition that's impossible to enter when we can make it really simple and still give away the chance to win something really cool and really lovely? So I am happy to tell you that at random, our winner for this die set has been chosen, and this die set is going to Margaret Bird. Congratulations, Margaret. If you could please let me know in a message to the page your address, we will pop this in the post to you and have it sent out as soon as possible. So congratulations, Margaret. Thank you all for taking part, for all of you who played along. There was over 100 people enter our competition, which is just mind-blowingly wonderful. So thank you. What have we not told them so far yet, Peter? What have we missed? We have told them about Margaret winning. We've told them about the stockists. Shall we show them the new goodies? Do you think we should do that? Have I missed any questions?
Fran's wondering if we're going to design any exotic animals.
Oh, I already live with Peter.
All right. So let's leave that one right there.
So no, exotic,
I apologise.
Scary. Don't know. I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't know. Have we got any on the drawing boards? I don't think we have we?
Not at the moment. It's not a bad idea, though.
I always like different themes. Always. Any themes you'd like to see. I'm always kind of trying to think of things that we haven't seen done lots of times before, or are slightly different, or that we can put a unique twist on them. So yeah, absolutely. Anytime you want to sort of question, we do keep notes and make sure that we can kind of bring in anything that you suggest at some stage in some format. Hence, actually, why the stencil vault was created, and we'll talk more about that when we get there. But shall we take a little run through of the brand new musical collection, just in case you haven't seen it? So, in this brand new release, there is the Rippled Star Bloom die set. There is, of course, the lavish foliage. That one, very good pronunciation. There is the violin die set as well. There is, on top of that, the guitar, giving you 3 dies to build up your beautiful guitar. There is the piano, giving you 3 dies to make up your piano. And why we give you 3 dies is it gives you a separate die for your piano lid, so that you've got the ability to cut that out of a different colour maybe, or a self-adhesive sheet, and put some flakes into it. And then you've got your piano keys, which you can cut in 2 colours and place back together. Then we have got the saxophone die set, giving you 4 dies, including musical notes and treble clefs, along with our saxophone. Then I suppose one of our latest additions in our animal collection, talking of exotic animals, is our beautiful Ralph the Rocker. Now, Ralph, of course, is our gorgeous rocking Ralph. He is full of life and beans, and this one is not only a stamp set, it is also a matching die set. So everything you need in one pack to go ahead and create the most beautiful character kind of elements that can then be built up. This, of course, works in conjunction with our other cuddly clan critters as such, or collection. So you might wish to put several on a project and have them all singing, or maybe you want to take Ralph and turn him into a mechanic and play him with Henry. You know, it all kind of works out that you can play sort of between the characters. Then we move on and we have got the Octagon Kaleidoscope set, and this one is broke up into a die set and into a stencil set. And we do both so that you've got the ability to bring in the segments that are cut out from the die set and place them back together using the guide within the stencil to make sure they're equally spaced like you see them on the packaging here. In the die set, there's actually 21 dies, including 4 corner elements, which match in with the sections of our kaleidoscope. And every kaleidoscope section has a separate inside and outside edge so that it can cut in and stay in, or it can be trimmed out using the outside edge. On your stencil, you also have the corner elements marked in there, and you have all of the fretwork panels so that you can take these and use your paste and your inks and your misters to go over the solid panels that you can create with that die set, or use them independently. They don't have to work together, but of course, more flexibility, more creations can be made when you've got both. And then to team up with this whole collection, we have got 5 brand new Octagon die sets. You know us by now, you know we love to bring you 5 different options that all interchange and all work together. We have done these in circles, squares, ovals, rectangles, octagons, and maybe, just maybe, more coming in the future. But today is all about the octagons. And these, and the reason we tell you there will be more, and the reason we tell you all of the original ones, is because it will all intermix. So maybe you wish to take the decal edge octagon, you want to take the pierced line from in the scallop set, and then in the centre of that you wish to cut out a circle. It's all going to fit, it's all going to work. Maybe, going in the other way, you wish to use this scalloped and pierced square, then place on a scalloped and pierced octagon, and then in the centre, put on a scalloped and pierced circle, knowing that those edges are going to match up throughout all of your levels. This kind of collection gives you that matching size, scope and design to be able to do so. And between all of these dies, it actually brings you 95 octagons to play with and to create unique ideas with. And I can't remember the numbers, we've been chatting about this on the Highlight Craft shows, but it works out that it's somewhere, was it not in the millions, the numbers we got up to when we were talking about all the different options?
I think when they were working out, they said it's probably about 2 million, didn't they?
I think that was if we bought in 2 sets. So if you imagine the octagons with the circles and then all the possible ways we could interchange those together, was about 2 million different options. So even if we said it's 1 million from the 95 dies, I don't think you're far off. It's an astronomical number of options when you start interchanging and playing between them, even with just one shape. And maybe you don't want all 5. Maybe it is like I mentioned, you just want to collect the decals throughout all of them, or the postage throughout all of them, whichever shape or edge it is that you kind of really like playing with. So yeah, have a little look for those. That is our brand new musical collection with our, of course, essential octagons sort of brought in as well. So all of that is, as of today, available from our stockists literally worldwide. I feel like you've got a question.
A lovely Maria's asking if you can tell her the size of the smallest flower, please.
Oh, of course I can. Of course I can. Let's have a little look. Thank you for the question, Maria. It's always lovely to have questions. Without questions, we can kind of be a bit lost. So that's a great one. Now, I'm desperately trying to fill for time because I can't find my rule, Peter. Where's my rule gone? Oh, you've got it. Oh, honestly.
Stashed away.
Can't leave you for a second without pinching something, and today it's my rule. Let's have a little look. So if we measure across the flower, so going from the tip of the petal to the tip of the petal is exactly 1 inch, so 2.5 centimetres is the smallest one within the set. If we go over to the set here, bring that up a little bit for you, you can see that you're going to cut 2 of the 1 inch ones, then you're going to go up to the next size, which is going to be 1.5 inches, then I reckon this is going to be 2, and then we're going to go for the biggest, which is about 3¼ to give you some rough ideas of where your sizing is going to go. And in the set, you've literally got everything doubled. So from there up is a repeat of the bottom 4. So when you send this through your machines, you're actually going to end up with 2 sets of everything. And I've done that because it's a better value way, and it just makes it quicker and easier for when you want to cut out multiple at the same ones, because it's very rare you just want one, isn't it? So this helps hopefully speed up that cutting ability. This little card I'm going to bring in, this one's done by Ian. How cute is this? The way Ian's taken those little flowers, put them out onto the branches. I really like this. And then added the little relax on with the velvet script alphabet. Any other questions?
Alison's going to chat her hubby up to see if you'll buy the pizza.
The pizza, this
set.
is what we class as our pizza set. Our lovely kaleidoscope octagons. I love these. There is so much scope in what we can do and what we can create and what we can play with those. So these are all now currently available. Pete's going to throw me in just a few more samples to give you a bit of inspiration with those. In the meantime, I'm going to take you through our 20 brand new DL stencils. Now, I know this is an awful lot of stencils to bring you in one go. This really is about us throwing the doors to the vault open and exploring those ideas. Now, if you missed the shows earlier and you haven't seen me chat about these already, it might be nice for you to know a little bit about what the stencil vault is, where it's come from, what the purpose of it is, why we're bringing you these stencils and what we want to see achieved with them, what we want to be able to do with them. So the stencil vault is a new sort of brand within ours. And the idea here is that we've basically reached in and selected some well-known, some less well-known designs from a vault of designs and actually brought them to you in stencil form. So they're my favourite designs that I've chose and sort of picked out by hand for what I feel we can work with, not only in today, but maybe when it comes to Christmas, maybe when it comes to later in the year, maybe collections I know that are coming down the line. But a big base load of stencils that are going to really see you through many occasions, many themes, and designs that I truly cherish and thought were ones that I feel we're going to work with and get a lot of use out of. So I'm going to show you all 20 of them. We'll start off with the first one here. We're going to start at 20 and work backwards. So 20 is patio paving. So all of these are of a DL size, as you can see by many of them. Very easy to match up and to go larger if you want to. You don't have to stop at DL, but it's a nice way for us to bring you a value size set of stencils. The recommended retail price for these is £4.99. Now I can tell you we have extended our offer to our stockists as well. So you should be able to hopefully find these on offer at some of our stockists on a buy 3, get 1 free offer for a limited time only. So the next one was buckled squares. Number 18 is layered rings. Number 17 is diamond lattice. Number 16 is enchanted star. Number 15 is sliced diamonds. I knew it said blooms then. Number 14 is tiled floors. I love this one. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. They're all beautiful, but I do have a few faves. Layered honeycomb is number 13. Again, that's a fave. But then see, this is, I'm going to do this a lot. I've hand chose these, so obviously I like them. But look at how cool this one is. This is our rippled satin, number 12. This I'm seeing sort of like Christmas velvet looks going on. Maybe some sort of crushed velvety sort of reds and greens and bits. I don't know, just feel that's a very cool one. Then we've got the retro squares. The DT have done a lot with this with the mechanical collection, which I thought was really cool. To me, it looks a bit like a dance floor. So I'm seeing Deirdre the Disco Diva on there, maybe something along them lines. Then we've got Shattered Mirror as we go through to number 10. This is the one we did the demo with today on the Craft Store. If you missed the shows on the Craft Store, you can watch them back on the Craft Store YouTube channel or on their Facebook page. I feel hopefully you'll agree, we did quite a few cool demos, and this one we did with gilding flakes and talcum powder. Very different, very cool, but it does look a little bit like a mirror that's shattered. Very lovely. Number 9 is Dot Dash. Number 8 is Pebbles. Number 7 is Tropical Florals. This one's a cool one. I like the look of that one too. Then we move on to number 6, which is Puddles.
I feel like you're doing the chart show.
I could do the chart show, couldn't we? Number 6, we've got Puddles. Wasn't Puddles a character on Absolutely Fabulous? Was she Puddles, the receptionist?
I don't know. Puddles rings a bell.
I don't know. Yeah, then number 5, sliced circles, and that's the large sliced circles. Number 4 is small sliced circles, and we've done this with a couple of them, giving you that ability to do backgrounds and foregrounds and sort of match through the designs, or maybe the other way around, it doesn't really matter. But I always think when you've got the same designs coming through in multiple sizes, whether it's with papers, whether it's with stamps, whether it's with stencils, whatever it may be, it just looks more intentional, it looks more luxurious, it certainly shows it's more thought out, because we've made sure and planned ahead that we've got them things in multiple sizes, or have gone out of sync. Diamonds is the next one, mosaic diamonds, sorry, and that's the large version, because of, spoiler, number 2 is mosaic diamonds small. So again, same idea of being able to build up and sort of layer. And then last one in the collection, number 1, is faded rings, which again, proper favourite of mine. So they are your 20 brand new DL stencils from the Stencil Vault that, as I say, are going to be sort of coming out to stockists in the next few weeks, I should imagine. Bubbles was the receptionist according to Fran. Bubbles. Yeah, I didn't think it was puddles. Not a lot of difference. Puddles, bubbles, bubbles, puddles. I don't know.
Fran was asking about cleaning your stencils. Do you have any tips?
Cleaning your stencils. Well, the best idea for cleaning a stencil, and this isn't something I follow, is to, once you've used it, put it into water. Pete will tell you that very rarely happens. So I had to find a way to rescue my stencils once everything had been caked on, baked on, and left for 6 weeks. Because that's kind of how I work. I think I'll do this and then I'll lay that there. I think that'll go in water in a minute, and before you know it, we're in a different season, different year. So I had to come up with something that I found that could strip off texture-based inks, misters, all of them bits and bobs. So my tip always is, and Pete loves it when I do this, absolutely loves it. I get a bowl out of the kitchen, like a, what's the name here, Peter? I've forgotten.
Like a casserole dish.
Like a casserole dish, out of kitchen cupboards. He loves it. Times he comes to me and
he's got his own casserole dish now.
Yeah, because he got a bit annoyed that kept stealing the old one.
Mine keep getting stolen.
The bread knife, I had the bread knife.
That's
I
gone.
had the sieve.
Cut foam tape.
Yeah, I have got a bit of a serial thing with the kitchen. So yeah, casserole dish tends to work nicely, and then I'll fill it full of warm to quite hot water, not too hot, don't want to damage nothing, but warm water. Lay in my items and then sprinkle over the top washing powder. We've got Ariel we use.
We have. Other brands are available.
More I'm telling you what I know works, so I sprinkle Ariel over the top of it and then tend to leave that overnight. Depending on what it is and how caked on it is, pretty instantly, some of it will come off. But if you've left it a little while and it's a bit baked on, then yeah, just leave it overnight, and then you should be able to take a nail brush or a scrubbing brush and just clear off the excess in the morning. And that saves my bacon daily, genuinely. So good little tip there. And then something we haven't yet mentioned, which is of course new as well, is our gilding flakes. So should we bring those in? And our glue too. Oh, are you pointing at my samples?
No,
What?
I didn't know if I was passing my stash or your stash.
Oh, okay. I want your stash. My stash has been used and opened, and we've got multicoloured lids, so we'll play with these ones. So these are our 6 brand new colours of gilding flakes, again now available from our stockists, as it's now celebrating Stockist launch day. And the gilding flakes, the recommended retail price of these is $6.99, and there are 6 colours. So we've got Ocean Waves, which is this first one, which is like a tealy greeny colour, very, very beautiful. Then we move on and we've got Rose Gold, beautiful rose gold, very elegant. Then we have got Magpie Gold, so bright gold, really full on. This really does remind me of Quality Street wrappers. Them chocolate pennies, is it chocolate toffee penny?
Oh,
and the little
toffee
stick
pennies.
that I can't eat because I'd lose my teeth.
A toffee finger.
Toffee finger. Looks like those, doesn't it?
Mm.
And then we've got Candy Pink, nice soft light candy pink. And then we've got Wild Wisteria. And then topping off the collection, we have got Vintage Chrome. So 6 colours with those. And our new, which will keep Alison happy, glue. Our Sticky Stuff glue. Our Sticky Stuff glue comes in a 30ml bottle. And this is designed that you can use this to stamp with, or you can paint with it. Basically, wherever you put this, it will stay sticky until you put something over the top, whether that be your flakes or your glitters or that kind of medium. But it will work with all of those to hold them in place. I love stamping with this and creating some really cool effects by then adding on my flakes over the top of them. So now I've taken you through all of the items. If anyone has any questions, please let me know and I will do my very best to answer them for you. If we don't have any questions, shall we do some demos? Shall we have a bit of a play and see what we can create and hopefully give you a bit more inspiration? Now, as always, I know now we did sneaky peek week last Monday, didn't we? So there was 3 demos with the music collection on that little video, that little live. That can be found on our YouTube channel. You can catch up with that there, or you can at the moment find it on our Facebook channel. They stay on Facebook for 30 days. So you can watch that back if you wish to there, or jump over to the YouTube channel where you can watch it forever because it will stay in place there for as long as it can. Then, of course, we did Highlight Crafts last Thursday, to which we did a 2-hour show with the musical collection. Again, you can watch that back on this Facebook page, the Highlight Crafts Facebook page, or the liveshopping.vip website. Then, of course, today we did an hour on the craft store with this collection. So again, another 2 or 3 demos there for you as well. So if this is new to you and you've not seen it and you're thinking, well, where do I find inspiration? There is already a collective, I'm going to say about 15 demos been done with the music collection and with the stencil vault, possibly even more than that actually, to give you some real true inspiration. So hopefully it's all about making sure there's content out there for you to enjoy and be inspired by. And I'm hoping that we've kind of ticked that box and give you a little bit to sort of sink your teeth into. But we'll do a bit more tonight to give you some more inspiration on top of that. Now, this evening, if you would like to win the cards that we create, we would love to give them away to one lucky viewer. All I'm going to ask you to do this evening is tell me what's your favourite musical instrument. So mine, for instance, we were talking about this down the craft store, mine is the saxophone. Can't play it, wouldn't have a clue, but I love the sound of a saxophone. So it can be, what do you like to play if you're musical? What do you like to listen to? Can be anything along them lines, just what's your favourite musical instrument? And then towards the end, Pete will pick one lucky winner to have these sent out anywhere in the world. Postage is not a problem, it's on us. So wherever you're watching from while we're live, up until the end of tonight's live, drop in the comments your favourite musical instrument and Pete will pick a winner. Okay, so then, should we have a little look at what we're going to do to begin with? We are going to play with our beautiful die cuts and build up some flowers. So this is the card that we're going to be doing. Let's bring that in so you can see it. This is the one that we're going to play with, and we're going to talk about inking these flowers because these are so easy to create and so stunning to do. And when I shared this card on Facebook the other day, I think this one got like 400 likes. It was something absolutely astounding like that. So I thought, well, it would be nice to share a little bit more detail with you about how it's created. So the first thing we're going to need is, of course, our dies. So I'm going to bring in our Rippled Star Bloom die set, and we're going to bring in a piece of card, and we're going to lay this down on top. Now, I've already got another die set here, which is kind of handy, because I can show you that once you've cut one, if you wish to recut another one, you can fit them together quite beautifully, so you waste less card. Because the cost of card is genuinely rising at an alarming rate. So anytime we can cleverly design the dies so they can fit in together so you get more value for money out of your card, we absolutely will do, and this is one of those. So we're going to place the card on the top there, and we're going to send this through our machine. So as always, I'm using a ProCut cutting machine, die cutting machine. It's electronic, it's got lots of power behind it, and one of the great bits about this is as it cuts, it will also deboss for us all of those details on our petals, which is absolutely brilliant. If you are using a manual machine and you don't find that the pressure is quite up to scratch of an electronic machine, and you haven't got that level of debossing being achieved on the first cut through the machine, have a little look in the box. You probably know of this, you've probably got this, you're probably using it to do with your stencils already, but either way, dig out your rubber mat. And once you've done your cutting, add on your rubber mat and send it through again, because the rubber mat will push down on the cardstock and it will deboss these veins, these indentations, even more prominently. Because when we're going to be adding ink to them, the one thing we want is those indentations to be as prominent as possible, because we don't want to add ink into the grooves, ideally. So the more embossed that line is, the better that's going to look. So we'll take out all these bits, release holder on the back there. Normally I'm a bit of a die tapper, but you don't want that coming through your speakers at you. So instead we'll use a poker tool and remove them properly. So once we have our pieces out, let's bring these onto one of our blending mats. I'm going to use one of our large blending mats for this, just for ease. And we're going to find one of our inks. So for mine, I did mine in, should we go for brushed gold instead to show you something different? I did mine in the fuchsia, but let's go for brushed gold. So all we're going to do is take the ink pad, we're going to hold on to one of the petals, and we're just going to brush this over the top. Now, this is important for you to know, and again, I'm probably telling you something you already know, but just in case you haven't thought of this, work this out, sin this, twig this, because I was having this chat the other day, and sometimes we don't always give thought to these things, do we? When we talk about brushing ink over something like this, one of the biggest differences on how this is going to look is the ink pad that you're using. So with our metallic inks, these come with like a foam body to them. And foam is very, very squidgy. So the minute we apply pressure, we're going to, and I'll do it on another one so you can see what I mean. If we push down too much, we're going to go right the way into them grooves because of the foam is going to go into that area. It's a soft fabric, it's spongy. So it's going to go into the indentations. That's going to look great, but if we want to try and keep that base colour showing, that's going to kind of obliterate it. So we're going to have to be very gentle, which we can do like I just did on that one, but we're just going to lightly brush over the top and build up our layers. When we start exploring other ink pads, you'll find that other ink pads are made of different materials. And that's the body and sort of the vessel as such that holds the ink. So if we go off to another one of our ink pads, just to give you a different glimpse, let's dig into our little box here. We will find, here we are, these are our quick dry pigment inks that come out a little while ago. This one is our squirrel red. Now when I take the lid off of this one, if I push on this pad, this one's felt, that one was foam, you can see there's no give. There's no squish at all. I'm just getting a lovely red finger. There is no squish. That's fine. What that means is when we bring this onto our die cut, it's not going to go into them holes as easily. So we can be a lot more forceful with our inking before that ink starts to go down into them grooves. So if you've tried this before and you've just found that you've coloured in the base layer or you've lost that detail, have a little look at the inks you're using. Now, as I said, that one with a foam pad can still be used, we just go lighter. The other way to use this, if you still want to do this effect and still don't find, some of us, like me, can be a bit heavy-handed, a brayer is your best friend. So pick up the ink on a brayer and then roll over the top of the die cut. Because of the brayer, again, a bit like the felt inks, are nice and hard. There's nothing going to get into that. That's not going to push down into the grooves. So the ink will just stay on the top and you can build up that colour on the top there. So that's hopefully a little idea and sort of explanation on how you can be colouring your flowers. Now, if I just lift these two up, we can see that beautiful gold coming in and we can see that beautiful red. I actually really like these two together. I think that this flower is a flower you're going to see a lot more of when we start doing Christmas creations because it is such a pretty one to use. I know that Pete, if he has a little dig about, will find a beautiful card that Ian did where he turned these into poinsettias. I think it is also Ian that's done one and turned them into daffodils as well. And this is what I love about this flower, is all the different directions you can take it off in to create different beautiful flowers. So this is Ian's creation showing you the daffodil version. This one will do. This is one actually we demoed last week where again we did the red ink over the top and we made it look more like a poinsettia in my opinion. I feel if we had added some little Christmas bits in, maybe added some sprigs of holly, we could certainly be talking about this being a Christmas card instead of a birthday card. So it really will be down to how you decide to dress this one up, to what direction you're going to be able to take it off into. So we'll place that little lot back into the box and we'll have a little look what's next. Kathy says she can't play any instruments confidently. This isn't about playing an instrument, Kathy. Do not panic. I can't play instruments. I'd love to be able to. The times I attempt to sing and tell Pete that I'd love to be able to sing, I can't sing either. But I'd love to. If you had a genie and he said, you've got 3 wishes and you can't solve world peace, world hunger or anything else, they've got to be kind of trivial wishes. Not that they ever do that, do they? But they always, give you the world, which is lovely. But if he did, if he said, keep it realistic, you can't have everything, one of my requests would be to be able to sing, because I'd just love to be able to do that. And trust me, I really, really can't.
You said the other day you wouldn't stop singing if you could.
I wouldn't. I would literally sing everywhere. I would be in like McDonald's going, "Can I have a Big Mac?" Do you know what I mean? Not that I'd eat a Big Mac, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It would be everywhere. If I was Adele, that would be it.
Love to be able to sing.
Yeah.
So gifted, the people that can, aren't they?
Absolutely. And not necessarily like in a work capacity, just in a driving you bonkers capacity. You know, singing the breakfast orders and things. Not that but So, okay, onto the panel on the top here, changing the subject off of my random attempts at singing. All we're going to do for this one is take a score tool and a scoreboard, and we are just going to score at every 0.5 centimetre. This is something I do all of the time, and it's one of my favourite ways to make a background because it's a bit subtle, it's not too bold, it's not going to steal the show from the flowers that we put on the front of it, but it's going to give us some interest instead of just a white piece of card, because to me it can be a little bit bland if we do all these beautiful flowers and then have a white piece of card beneath it. Now you might choose, like here, to just score a few lines. You don't have to do all of them. Another thing I really like doing, and I think looks really cool, that you might not have seen me talk about before, is if we do every other line, and we're just going to do a little part of this panel, do every other line so we've got a gap between them, and then flip the card and do the line in the middle. So where we was at 1.5 centimetres and 2.5 centimetres. So we're going to do 2 centimetres, but we're now pushing down. So we pushed up on the other side, we're going to push down on this one. And it kind of gives you a very different vibe to what you've achieved. So if I lift that up, I don't know how well you're going to see this, but it gives you a bit more of a corrugated style look to it. How about if I bring that in? Will that level out the cameras a little so you can see it? Might work, might not. But it's going to give you, you might see it there, but it's going to give you more of a corrugated feel to it because you've got dips going down, dips coming up, dips going down. So it kind of creates a different look. So if you've been following me for many moons and you're kind of bored of just doing the one score line, doing that flippy floppy trick by going between the two different sides can really give your panel a slightly different look. So we're going to place that panel down on top here. And then we're going to bring in our foliage. So our foliage, of course, is our lavish foliage. And these have been coloured with our cactus green ink pad, which again is one of our metallic inks. So cactus green for these bits, the fuchsia for the flowers to bring in the different colours. And then to anchor these down, we're going to bring in some foam tape. And we're just going to cut a little bit of this off. So I'm using our giant 50-metre rolls. And this is the 1mm foam tape that I'm working with. Big Mac bread buns have around 6 tablespoons of sugar. Oh, I can't even read tonight. 6 tablespoons of sugar per bun. Do you know what, Fran? I reckon that's why they taste so good. I think it is. I'm not saying it's healthy, but it does fill a void sometimes, doesn't it? Not that I eat a Big Mac, actually, but I do like the bread. I do like the buns. I've probably told you this a million times, I'm a really funny eater. So at McDonald's, one of my favourite things to do is to order just a plain bun and a portion of chips and make myself a little chip butty. It's a very English interpretation of an American fast food, that, isn't it? To make a little chip butty. How traditionally English is that? Or how bonkers is that? Whichever way round it is, but it is very lovely. Followed with a McFlurry, and I'm a happy bunny. Okay, so let's take a little bit more and we'll add this onto the top. So all we're going to do now is layer up our foam tape, and we might go actually more for the middle, just around there. We might add in some more in a second. But now we've got our next layer, we can bring in our flowers. So these have gone a little flat in my pack, so we're just going to shape them slightly, just wake them up a little, and then we're going to place that first flower into the centre there. And then we're going to go in for our next 2 sizes down, and we're going to add some tape onto the reverse of these so that we can tuck them just coming above this flower. If you go back to my original, minus the fingerprints, you can see that we're sort of layering these ones over the top of the last ones. So again, a little bit of tape onto these. I'm just going to check if our camera's zoomed all the way in. We see them very distant today, don't we? Let's have a little look. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? Now you can see where we are. Oh, I don't know. All this time in, I was just looking at that thinking that's far too far out. So add on a little bit of tape to there. I'm going to tuck that one at the top. We're going to add on a little bit of tape to the bottom one. Done a lot of confessing my eating habits today, haven't I? We were talking on the craft store about my jacket potato randomness after we've gone for lunch. Oh, I love a jacket potato.
Oh, we had a nice jacket earlier.
Oh, lovely jacket. A Waitrose jacket potato. Honestly, it's lovely when you go to the craft store because you're just round the corner from a Waitrose, which where we live in Great Yarmouth, I believe we are about an hour from a Waitrose normally, aren't we?
Probably Saxmundham, is it?
Yeah, I think so. We're quite away from a Waitrose, so it's kind of lovely.
Comments.
Pardon?
No comments about that one. We do have M&S though.
We do have M&S, yeah, but you know, it's also nice to have a Waitrose. So all I'm doing now is just taking a few pearls and dotting them around, or gems, dotting them around, just because I felt that where we've got the silver pearls or gems in the middles of the flowers, we needed to bring that slightly into the background there as well. Now you might choose to stand this card and have that sort of go round, and then you could add a little sentiment underneath it if you wish to, or of course we can stick to it standing as it kind of were designed to give you that look instead. But that completes our first demo. I know, 45 minutes in and I've only done one. I apologise. We will speed up, I promise. But it's nice to give you the chance to see these come together. So if you haven't already, let us know in the comments what your favourite musical instrument is, and Pete will pick a winner at the end of the video or the end of the live to win at least this card. But hopefully we will have made something else to go alongside that by then as well. Do we have any questions about anything we've yet looked at or not yet looked at that they would like to see, Peter?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Just that Sue's been playing the flute for 50 years.
Oh my goodness!
She now plays in a group called the Flute Pastels.
Oh wow!
To the children and babies in the local nursery.
Oh, that is lovely. Oh, how nice. It'd be lovely to be able to take our talents and use them for nice like that, wouldn't it? We for many years at the store, we've hired a lady who can do sign language as a choir, and every year at Christmas she goes and does a performance where she does the sign language in a sign language choir, and I think that's a really lovely thing to be able to do and a lovely gift to be able to share. And yeah, so good on you. That's lovely. That's adorable. So, okay, shall we have a little play with one of our new stencils? Because it would be wrong of us to not bring those in and have a little go with one of these this evening, wouldn't it? So, we're actually going to make a Christmas card. Now, I know it's a bit early, and I do apologise, but I'm hoping you're going to agree. This is a very, very pretty Christmas card, and nice to show how these stencils can be used all year round. So this is the one that we're going to make, and we're just going to skip through lots of bits and make this really nice and easy and simple. But we're going to start off, of course, by making our background element. So for this, we're going to need, and this is bad planning because I don't actually know if I've got one, but we'll have a little dig and see. Oh, I might have some in here. If not, Peter will find us one of the white of our gemstones texture paste. But we can mix other colours if not, but it would be nice to have a white one. Oh, have we got a white one? We've got a white one. Oh, and it's a brand new one. Look at that. We do like a new one. So we're going to bring in our gemstones texture base in diamond white, and we're going to find ourselves a palette knife, and we're going to open this jar. So with these, I like to keep the lid intact if I can, to as much of a degree, because it's just another little air of protective freshness to make sure that this paste stays nice and ready to work with at all times. We're going to go in and we're going to hook out some of this. I see the other day that Ling shared a photo of her desk on a group, and she put cling film, or puts cling film over the top underneath her lids. And I thought that was a very good idea. Because I'm not that I'm saying you need them. I've been working with these now for, I don't know, 8 or 9 months, and I've not seen any signs of any drying out at all in any way, shape or form. But it never hurts to have that protective layer put in place to make sure it stays fresh and ready and you know, storable for a long time. So once we've taken our texture base and we've placed that out, we're going to bring in some of our re-inkers. Now we could do this with the ink pad if you don't have the re-inkers, but as I've got the re-inkers, it's going to be nice to bring these in and show you what I did. So we're going to make a little well in the middle there, just so we don't flood out, and we're going to squeeze in a bit of colour. We can always come back and add more, so you don't have to add loads to begin with, and I'm working with the Sea Breeze blue of the re-inkers. And all we're going to do is mix this up to create our brand new texture paste. Now what we've got with our texture paste is we have a clear medium with white glitter suspended within it. So when we bring in a colour like this, whether it's an Elite Mister, whether it's an ink pad, whether it's a different product from a different company, if we mix this in, what we're doing is we're colouring that clear medium. So the glitter is still going to remain white, but the body around it is going to change colour. So in this case, into this beautiful blue. Now I've done mine a little bit more intense than the one that's on the card, but it doesn't matter. It's just showing you a different way in which you can build this up and which you can create with. So now we're going to take a piece of white card. Now I chose to die cut mine beforehand with one of our squares. So I'm going to use this one actually instead of the sheet of card. And we're going to use our scalloped squares with our pierced detail. We're then going to bring in a piece of copy paper. And we're going to put that down, and we're going to, this is my only downside, is trying to pick which stencil to work with. They're all so lovely, it's genuinely a challenge to know which one I want to go with. Should we go with this one? I really love that one. This one is number 2. I don't know the name because of that's just mind-boggling for me. So we're going to bring in this one. Number 2 is Mosaic Diamond Small. Oh, that's nice. This is the one that's got the big and the small to it. We're going to pick up our texture paste and we're going to go over the top here. So we're just using this over part of the panel. We're not going to go all the way. We don't need to do all of it. We're just going to show you a small amount. Have we had any other musical instruments? Anyone confess what they can or can't play?
Yeah, lots of different. Once Angela said she learned to play the cello at school, it was bigger than her at the time.
Oh my goodness.
Cello.
Have you continued to play that like a violin? But
or is that big?
The one that you stand. So our violin die's got the little point on it, so you can use it as a cello, or you can trim it to be a violin if you prefer. But yeah, kind of, to my unknowing knowledge, kind of look the same, just down to size and scale. But do you still play? This is something we need to know as we sort of interview you from afar. Do you have a favourite musical instrument, Pete?
I'm quite like the saxophone, like you say.
Oh,
I think since when we was in America that time, and was it Don Black was playing?
It was Don Black. Is Don Black?
Such a lovely jazz musician, isn't he? So
he's incredible.
Oh, in the
I was talking again. We was chatting about Don Black earlier on the craft store. We see him perform. He was doing a street performance in America when we was over there, and he performs all modern songs, but just through the saxophone. No singing, no nothing else. Just through the saxophone, and he's really, really good. You can find him on Spotify if you'd like to have a listen. I believe he's also on YouTube as well, but it's very, very good. So there is our brand new mixture that we've just created by adding in our re-inker into our texture paste and then going through our stencil. And this is what I mean about not necessarily having to cover the whole of the project. It can just be part of your panel. I love this so much. I'm going to put this safely off to one side so that it dries, and we can come back to that at a later date because that's too pretty to not use. So onto our card blank, we're going to use an 8x8 card blank. We're going to just try and get that bit off the desk so that we don't contaminate the card. We're sending this out to one lucky winner. We don't want to send it with a stain, send it with a mark. So we're going to go on with some silver mirror card next, and we're going to step down our size. Now I'm trying to think of what other news I'm allowed to tell you about this week. There's so many bits going on in the background, isn't there? It's trying to remember which bits I'm allowed to confess all and tell. So this week, if you haven't already seen, we have a new DT member joining us. We have the lovely Diane Williams, who has become a DT member for us this week. and is already crafting up a storm using the musical collection. And I have a feeling you'll be getting to see some of her creations shortly with that as they sort of come through to us. Diane was a DT member for Creative Expressions for many years. She is somebody I've absolutely loved seeing create and sort of seeing how she thinks outside the box. And this is what I love about our DT. Genuinely, we've got such a lovely cross-section of crafters who all have their own flavour, who have their own style. And I think it's really good. It's a sign of a great DT when you know that people are going to take things off in different directions. Like we call Ian our Shaker King because he loves to make shaker cards. Wendy does a scrapbooking. You know, they've all got their kind of flavour that they like to create within. They all go outside the box and we see different bits from them. But the bit with Diane, I think you're going to see come through with some of her samples, is her boldness with colour. She honestly, she's braver than I am. And it just works. She's so unapologetically bold when it comes to mixing and matching and what she does. And it's just going to be a pleasure to be able to share some of her creations with you. Oh, I'll show you this one. This is actually the card that Diane sent me for my birthday, because it was my birthday on Friday. I was 40, as you can tell. And Diane sent me this in the post as my birthday card, which I thought was really, really lovely. So on here we can see Ralph the Rocker being built up. And I love the way that she's layered his face and really brought him to life. You can also see the little guitar that's been added on and layered. You can also see she's added a little 40 down here on the guitar as well. Then when we go onto the record, this, when I see it, I was like, where did that record come from? That's incredible. This is what we mean about having our mats and layer dies. So what Diane has done is she has used our plain circle. She has then used 1, 2, 3, 4 of our pierced circles, put them together, and then with a gel pen added in the little white dashes. Then layered up the middle, again with the plain circle and the pierced detail, and then added another plain one in the middle to make the centre with a little white dot in the middle of it. Teaming this with our octagons, which are running through here, the stamp which comes with Ralph, excuse me, and then what I really loved is the happy birthday being added in the corners as well, which of course is our DL stamp that we bought out in the architecture collection. So I thought that was really cool. But this is what I mean about Diane being brave with colour. I just love how bright and vibrant this is. I also like the way she's added in the top 40 part with the velvet script alphabet. I thought that was really, really lovely. So that's one I can share with you because it's my birthday card and I've got it here already. So, okay, let's have a little look. So this is our poinsettia. I have cut my poinsettia using some of our Clouded in Mystery. Now, I know that this is very much on last knock-ins with any of our stockists who have still got some available. So if you like the look of this, don't dilly-dally. When it's gone, it's gone. But I've gone ahead and I've cut this, and I'm going to bring in an alcohol marker to just colour in on the reverse of it. And you've seen me do this before, so I'm not going to do all of it, but we're going to add down some colour on one side. We're going to flip that flower over, and we're going to add colour onto the top of it. And then normally I usually start on the top, to be honest, because I tend to do 2 coats of colour on the top and 1 on the back, so that it really goes in and colours this sort of translucent card. And what I love with the alcohol ink is if we get a bit carried away, if it starts to bobble a little bit, you know, like if you flood something with alcohol ink, you're going to end up with texture that will then stay on the petal. And I really like that sort of look. You can also create that with different mediums, can't you? But it's really lovely to just see that kind of dewy look to the petal. So alcohol markers to colour the flowers with, and I've done mine in blue to match in with the blue of the background that we're going to be creating. So move these off to one side and bring in our lovely big bold blue flowers. Now in the middle of mine I have also added in some little gems which have been added onto the centre, and for the flower I have used our classic poinsettia, if I remember rightly. Am I calling that the right name? That is the classic poinsettia, isn't it?
I believe so.
We get there in the end. So, okay, onto this pot. We're going to bring in our entwined leaves, which came out a little while ago. And these are the ones I always call the twiddly bits. I've cut these from my pearl card and I've sandwiched them in between some foam tape. And we're going to bring this in and make a little spray going around this corner. That leaf might need to, or does it go that way? No, we're going to stick to the way I had it, but we're just going to go further up so that we've got those coming down there somewhere. It's always a much quicker trick for us to do this beforehand, so you don't have to watch me position them all, but it does make it a little bit more target practice when I come to bring them in, to make sure that I get them in the right places and that they fit on the card as they should. So we're then going to bring in our 2 flowers, and I'm just struggling with this one a little bit. That middle's come out, so we'll just push that down, and we're going to place this one on the top there, and we're going to push this one just going under there, so that we have our 2 flowers with our foliage coming out from around them. Now, this doesn't have to be Christmas at all. It could just be a very nice blue floral card. We could have made a few different choices along the way, maybe a slightly different flower. But as I'm all up for embracing Christmas, we're going to bring in our sleigh and reindeer die set. Now, this one come out, this was like our second release, I believe. And this come with, and still does come with, it's still available, with a little village scene and a tree line scene, so that you can have the sleigh and reindeer flying over the top of a village or over the top of a forest, or both if you wish to. And we're going to bring this one in and we're going to place it down, going up through the top of our card, just to complete that very simple, very easy card. Now, I changed stencils and I've kind of changed colour as well, so a little bit more icy blue on this card versus this card, just more of the colour being added into it. And we've changed stencil. This one is the honeycomb stencil. I'm going to say this one's something like a starburst stencil, but it just gives you different designs. There's 20 to choose from that you can play with. So of course there's loads to fill your boots with, but they're just 2 of the ones that I've created with this card project. Okay, so that is demo number 2. Now, how are we doing for time? I reckon we could fit in another one. Let's have a little look. May Foster says, let's have a little look. What does May say? What is the difference between Clouded in Mystery and Frosted Fantasy? Just 2 different brands, being honest with you. One was before Jamie Rodgers Crafts existed, and one is after Jamie Rodgers Crafts existed. So Frosted in Fantasy was a Craftmania only product. When we wanted it to bring it to market and a mass appeal and sort of be able to take it worldwide, we changed the name so it was a bit more consumer friendly to all territories, I suppose, in a sense. So same base product, just different branding, and you will notice bit of a price difference due to the different times that we managed to get hold of those stocks as well, but it is actually the same product as such, just sourced through 2 different companies. Is the Clouded in Mystery coming back? No, Mary. When Clouded in Mystery is gone, we are having on official word that there is no more. That is it. Now, there might be.
I knew this was coming. He's got that look about him.
The little look that comes in.
Yeah, I've seen that look many
There
times.
might be a gap that needs filling in our product line because we've lost that transparent product. So maybe there might have to be something new come later. I don't even know what month we're in anymore, so I can't even tease you a month. But it's coming.
Next month.
Next month? Do we have that officially?
Do
we? Okay. Next month? Maybe. So we'll tell you about that later. I'm trying to think when it'll fit to releases, so I don't know when we'll see it, but it's due to arrive soon. Talking of things that Pete teases us with and tells us are coming and coming and coming. He did that, didn't he? Our clear texture base, he didn't. It was very good. He told us the end of March the whole way through, and it was the end of March, so, you know, I'm just impatient. Our clear texture paste made its return on Friday, I believe, or Saturday. I don't know. Saturday we emptied the boxes for these, didn't we?
I think it was Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. So yeah, clear texture paste is officially back in stock as of Saturday. Once again, this is something that come out of the blue and sort of arrived and is now heading out to the stockists. So keep an eye on them. If they haven't got it quite back in stock yet, it's one of them things I'll be adding to their future orders, I'm sure, and you'll be seeing appear. With that in mind, 3 other items launched on, I think, Saturday. Honestly, it's been bonkers around here the last couple of weeks. It's very hard to keep up with everything and what days, what's going on. But I'm going to share these with you because if you haven't seen them already, it might be nice for you to know that they're about. So these are just essential core lines that we've introduced. So the first one we have is our mini funnels. And these are a pack of 2 mini funnels. And the funnels, these fit perfectly into our gemstones glitter. You can use them with many other products, and it certainly doesn't have to be about our brand completely. But the funnel fits within the bottle. So if you wish to put your gemstones glitter back inside the bottle easily without making a cone out of card or copy paper, then these are a bit of a game changer. They've even got a little hook on them so you can keep them on like a little ring, maybe on a drawing pin or something on your desk so that you've always got it to hand so you can put them back into the tube. Whether it's putting our glitters back in our tubes, whether it's liquids, whether it's embossing powders, you know, whatever it is you wish to work with, you can do so. The recommended retail price for these is £1.25 for 2. So again, keep an eye on the stockists. These come out of the blue for those, and they might take a little while to head through. But once again, they are now available and we have them in stock and we are shipping them. Another product along a similar line of kind of bringing you essential items is our spritzer bottles. So these are packs of 2 spritzer bottles going for our black nozzles or lids as such, as you kind of know them. You're going to notice we have a bit of a theme within our brand that we tend to go for these black tops to our items. So they're kind of matching in with that theme and adding in so that when it all sits on a shelf, it all looks very lovely. And hopefully if you use our spritzer bottles to make your own mixes, so for instance, if you go ahead and you start taking these, adding water into them, and then start adding in your reinkers, like this one was. So this is our, again, Seabreeze Blue reinker, put into here to make its own mister. Again, it's going to match in with our little family of products. It's all going to stick together and sort of show you that black lid. It's not vital, it's just something, if we can, we do. But either overall, it's more about what it does. It, of course, is a 30ml spritzer bottle that you can make your own mixes in, you can use with water. So yeah, just a technique-y item. And these are £2.99.
Yes.
Oh, look at me go, 2 for 2.
You.
I don't think I'm going to get the third one right because my memory is useless. And then the next thing that we're going to bring you, or is now available, is our MDF door hangers. So these are a pack of 6 MDF door hangers. They're 70mm by 200mm. So what's that, 7 centimetres by 20 centimetres? So just shy of 3 inches by 8 inches.
About 7.
About that, isn't it?
7-ish, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that, 8, yeah.
What I really like about these is how, when we talk about the stencil vault, we can bring this in and start colouring over the top of these to make some really cool door hanger designs. Wouldn't that be fun to start bringing these in? Maybe we use them in patches, maybe we bring it over the whole of the item. The choice is yours, but I think they're going to work really nicely with those. They would look lovely with some pattern papers on them maybe. Maybe you want to do some stamping. We did a lovely tag on a couple of weeks ago live, didn't we? Where we coloured it with oxide inks and then stamped a church or a lighthouse on it and coloured that in with pencils. That would work really nicely. Now these 6 door hangers, the recommended retail price for these is £3.99, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. That's what I was thinking.
We have a Waitrose update.
I was going to say Jacqueline's looking out for us,
We've got a Waitrose update showing our lack of knowledge of our local area. As if we don't know where we are. We don't. Apparently, there is a Waitrose in Norwich. I need to know more about this Waitrose. Why have we not been to this Waitrose?
See a day trip coming on.
Just a Waitrose. Throwing Dunelm, and I am happy. That is it. That is what we do need locally, though, Jacqueline. If we could work on this, is an IKEA. If we could build an IKEA locally, that would make me a happy person. But you know, there has to be some reasons to go out and explore. So I'm not whinging, but it would be lovely to have an IKEA on the doorstep. Pete possibly disagrees with that logic.
I do.
Because I do have a little bit of an addiction to IKEA. It is becoming a little bit costly, the level of addiction that I have regarding IKEA. So maybe best that they're at a distance, but it would be nice. That is something we are missing. But I've done a little bit of reading about this, and apparently it's all down to the size of the stores. UK planning kind of anchored down and stopped them building stores in the UK. So they tried doing like small stores on high streets, apparently. I don't know where these were, but they did try. They did have one of them in Norwich, but it wasn't a high street store. It was like a click and collect point. That didn't work and they got rid of it. I don't think it worked as a concept. But what does interest me is in China, I think it's China. It's either China or Japan. I think it's China. They've started putting IKEAs into shopping malls. So like when the House of Fraser goes, or Debenhams, for instance, something like that, IKEA moves in and puts in an IKEA. That I think sounds cool. And that's a trend that apparently they've started doing abroad. So you never know, we might get that over here one day. So what have we done? We have done a demo from the stencil vault. We've done one with the flowers. Shall we do a third one before we leave you all in peace? What have I got in my little bag that we could play around with, or a little box that we could play with? Let's go back to, let's do this one. We're kind of on a DL theme this evening, so we'll do another DL. I love this card. This is one of my favourites. I really like the background to it, to which I'm going to need to find it because I don't know where I put it actually. We might just skip it. But I've stamped this with our lovely newsprint stamp. So I'll have a look and see if I can find my stamp. But if I can't, we'll just skip over that. It's not the end of the world, is it? So if you haven't already, don't forget to let us know what your favourite musical instrument is, so that Pete can pick one lucky winner to win the cards we've made this evening. By the looks of it, we're going to have 3 to give away. So it would be lovely to have as many of you enter and join in with us so that Pete's got a nice selection to pick a winner from. Oh, I know what I haven't spoke about this evening that I can talk about now. I don't think we spoke about this last week, did we? Our lovely demo day, which is coming up at Gilly's Crafts. Now, earlier on the craft store, honestly, I got the name wrong because of going back to confessions. I have like proper problems with names, don't I? You know this, it happens all the time. And I just get proper something put in my head, and then that's all it is. So I was like, Giles Crafts. I was like, it's not Gilly's Crafts, isn't it? Honestly, what am I like? And then I said it's in Liverpool, and I don't think it is in Liverpool, is it? It's on the outskirts.
Port Talbot, I believe.
Port Talbot. See, I really got that wrong. There was me trying to plan ahead and think of what's coming up. Wrong location, wrong name. Honestly, I shouldn't be left alone. I'm sure our lovely Gillian was yelling at a screen going, Jamie, that's all wrong, which is perfectly fine to do. So onto our stamp press, we're going to bring in a piece of our Decadent Ivory cardstock, and we're going to anchor this down with a couple of magnets. Now, I can't find my newsprint stamp. I think that might still be in a box from today's outing. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to bring in this lovely lattice stamp, and we're going to place that down in our press, and we're going to pick that up and we're going to stamp this one instead. So this is our elephant grey ink that we're going to go over the top of our stamp with. Now this stamp, I love this stamp, or do love this stamp, and we need to do more with this. When we launched this, we brought out 2 stencils that went within the apertures of the lattice, didn't we? We didn't do any stamps, did we? It was just the 2 stencils. There wasn't a stamp. Is there a stamp?
No,
did we do a stamp?
The lines there was.
There was for the lines, but we didn't for the lattice. We had a heart stencil and a flower stencil. Am I right? Honestly, remember, I don't think we can see that very well. Let's do a bolder colour. Let's go for Minty Fresh. Oh, Minty Fresh. Oh, I love this Minty Fresh. So elegant and soft and luxurious. And I think teaming this with the Decadent Ivory, not at all what we need for the project, but I think it's going to look lovely. I think we need to do some stamps to go in the middle of this, Peter. I think we need to add that to the list.
Add that to the list.
And certainly some more stencils. But already the 2 stencils that are out make this a great stamp to work. Oh, look at that. That lovely Minty Fresh shows up much bolder, doesn't it? Looks really elegant and really soft. And actually, if we started bringing in the components, so this one isn't trimmed down, so I'm not going to hold you down or hold you up waiting for me to go and cut it. But if we started bringing in some of the elements that we're going to be using on this card, I actually think that could look quite nice if it was trimmed out and layered properly. But we've got the corners coming up, we've got the flowers coming up. I think that's actually rather lovely, building the flowers around the lattice and building that up with the corners. But we're not going to do that. We will stick to the plan to save me trimming this one out and holding you all up waiting for that. So background stamp, stamped, panel created. Now for mine, I did use the elephant grey ink and I went for the newsprint stamp. So that's the part that I've created. I've then got a piece of our rose petal pink card, and I've just taken my elephant grey ink pad, and I seem to be running out of mats this evening to work on, so we'll go for a piece of paper, and I've just taken the ink down the side to just match that in, just tone down the pink slightly so it's not quite as bold when it comes to laying our newsprint on the top. I just wanted the pink to shine through light, not too bright, not too perfect. So onto our card blank we go. So we're going to build a DL card this time. Again, we could possibly add in some stenciling. I might actually do that. Should we do that as well? See, this card was done before the stencils were announced to be released. So actually, now we could do a little bit of both and add some stenciling on as well if we wanted to. So shall we bring this panel in? And I have got foam tape on the back of this. It could go terribly, terribly wrong. But we're going to give it a go. What one should we go for? What's going to go nicely with that newsprint? Shall we go with pebbles? Could be quite nice. I'm trying to think of something that's not too... Oh, I quite like the honeycomb. Oh, the faded rings. It's going to be the faded rings. I think that's stencil number 1, actually, which is the faded rings. And we're going to bring that on. And I've gone for this one because it's got kind of a vintagey look to it. It's more distressed in how it appears. So we'll bring in a blending brush, and what colour should we go with for our ink? Should we go for silver ink instead? Because I think silver's going to stand out a little more than the grey will. So we'll pick up some of our silver lining ink, and we're just going to do some small areas of it. Oh, look at that. That's nice. So we're going to go in from one side and add some of that down there, and then we're going to go up here, and we're going to bring some over here.
It's a nice brush.
It's a nice brush, Peter. It's a very nice brush. You can stop that already over there in the corner.
Fair word. I was like, where's that picture from?
So up we go, just so you can now see that stenciling coming in over the top. I really like that. I think that's going to be a nice little addition when we start building up the rest of this project. So lay that back down, bring in our corners. So the corners here are, of course, from the kaleidoscope segments. We've got 2 of these to play with. We're going to bring in some glue and we're going to place that out. Again, use a blending mat, not a piece of card, ideally, because then we can reuse the mat more times than we can reuse the card. But for speed, we're going to pick up some glue. And also, you don't have to worry then about the glue sticking this corner down to the cardstock. If we're quick, it shouldn't make too much difference. We're then going to bring in our corner and we're going to place that over this corner. And then we're going to take our next corner and we're going to go for the top right. Uh-oh. Pete's chuckling.
Alison says, when are we going to see some of Peter's crafting?
I actually think that would be a lovely idea. You're brilliant at what you do. Yes.
Oh, I've got no confidence. When you live in the shadow of a master, it's quite...
oh my goodness.
You know, I did
The
make you a
shadow
Valentine.
of a master.
I made you a Valentine's card one year, didn't I?
Of course you did. Yeah. It's very good at crafting. Don't
You
listen to
still
me,
got
Jack.
it.
Of course I have.
Quite touched.
I do keep all of my cards. I am actually a hoarder, aren't I? I would, of course, have kept yours anyway, but I am a hoarder. I do keep
good
every
backtrack
card.
in there. That.
No, it's just honesty, isn't it? I do save
I keep every card.
I do. But I do, though, don't I? I keep all of them, whether they're store-bought or handmade. Yeah, one day somebody's going to inherit endless cards with no idea what to do with them, all because I've sort of carried them throughout life. But it is really lovely, and it tends to be when I move, in fairness. But when you look back through them and you see all sort of the people that wished you a happy birthday at different stages, and sadly some of them might not necessarily for one reason or another be around with us any longer, it's just really nice to actually have those memories. And yeah, I am quite sentimental, so absolutely keep these things. So saxophone die cut, when these cut, they're also going to deboss beautifully, a bit like when we talk about the flowers. So bringing in that same grey ink, taking this over the top here to just highlight the different layers is going to create a beautiful effect with no sort of need to add any more additions to it, really. If you want to cut and layer them, you can do. If you wanted to bring in gilding waxes, polishes, bits like that and add to them, then you absolutely could do as well. But an ink pad is a great way to go over the top and add in some depth. So I was going to do that same idea with my foliage too. So we're going back to our lavish foliage and we're going to pick out 2 or 3 of those branches. We're going to find our foam tape once again from wherever I've put that away. And we're going to bring this back in so that we can build up these ones. Have we had any more musical instrument confessions while I've been nattering?
Kim loves the harp. Her niece started playing it when she was 8.
Oh, how lovely.
I love the harp.
Yeah, harp's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Relaxing.
Mm.
So just layering our lavish foliage as we come down round this corner. Then we're going to go back to our flowers. So you've seen me do this earlier, but we're going to go back to our flower. We're going to bring back in our grey ink once again, our elephant grey, and we're just going to go over the top of each of the petals, just so that we end up with the grey on the top and the pink on the lower level to create our two-tone flower. Now this also works really nicely if you use our gilding flakes of the self-adhesive sheets, die cut these out, and then bring in a StazOn ink and rub that over the top. You'll then end up with metallic shimmer on the top, even though it's gone to the colour of the StazOn, and you'll end up with the colour of the flake coming through in the grooves. That looks really, really cool. Then we're going to add in our flower, all completed and ready over the top there of that foam tape. And then we're going to bring in our saxophone, and we're going to place that within our little display. Coming around like so. And then to top this one off, or to finish this one off, we're going to go to some of our little musical notes. Now these musical notes are actually the waste parts that come in with the kaleidoscope segments die set. So in that die set, you will find one of the little triangles, one of the little panels is filled full of musical notes. This is the waste that comes within those. So I'm going to be naughty and I'm going to put some glue out on my hand just because these are so delicate and so small. I don't want to lose them by dabbing them down. And we're going to find a pair of tweezers so I could just pick each of these up and put some glue onto the reverse of them. And then we're going to place them coming out of the saxophone, going up into the air. Another one on there. And a little third one coming in. Just going off up into that top bit. And we'll leave it with 3. We've got more. We could actually have one literally coming out of the saxophone if we wanted to, but I'm quite happy with the 3, so we're going to stick to just the 3. I've also got a little sentiment, so where we added in the silver in the background, we might want to add on a little best wishes on a sentiment panel, or we could put it at the top if we wanted to, but I think actually that's quite nice as it is. But it is nice seeing that little pop of silver coming through in the stenciling in the background. It really does layer together, and this is what I mean about this stencil vault. Having these 20 new stencils, I think you're going to be seeing these appear in many a demo going forward because they're just the perfect addition to go in and add down to your different bits. Now I've numbered mine with a Sharpie just on the tabs here. They tell you on the tabs that they are of course the stencil vault, so I've just added my numbers on so I know which ones I'm using as I talk to you about them. But they are all individually numbered when you purchase these, so it's kind of a nice way to know which ones you've collected and which ones you need without having to remember the numbers. So it's just another little thing that we've done to try and make it easy for you to keep track of the ones you've got hold of already. So demo-wise this evening, we have completed 3 projects. We have done our saxophone, we have done our stencil vault mix, and we have done our flowers, all being decorated with our metallic inks. So kind of 3 very different cards this evening, 3 very different looks, 3 very different ideas that will hopefully give you a little bit of a inspiration as what you could be creating. So Peter, have you already chose your winner? And if you haven't, can you please? I will do a little scan of any comments before we leave you in peace. Jamie seems to have very mucky mitts. I do. Honestly, it doesn't help. I'm wearing new jeans today, and every time I touch my jeans, I come off bluer. So halfway through today, I looked like a Smurf. I was, didn't I?
He did.
Well, we went
in
to
Waitrose,
and there I was looking like blue. So I think my foundation level today is already quite a colour as it is. So yeah, you might see I look a bit blue to begin with. But yeah, certainly added more colours to that throughout this. So let's have a little look. Have we missed any other questions and bits before we let you go? I always hate it if afterwards we've missed something. Zoe likes the funnels. The funnels are neat, aren't they? Aren't they a cool little addition? And again, I think that's something that as we add more products to the collections, they're going to come in even more handy. We're going to be bringing in more things to make more mixes with. So maybe it's not about returning something into a bottle, but maybe making a new mix and putting it into your own bottles. all things to think about in the future. Diane likes the look of the door hangers are a must. That's lovely to hear. I will make sure that we send you some in your next DT parcel, because it is all about giving you something to play and explore and experiment with, which is very, very cool. Fran, there's an IKEA shop in Hammersmith and one in Oxford Street, London. Is there? Oh, they must be new, or I'm just completely oblivious. I do love IKEA. It is an addiction. We mentioned Kim likes the harp. You used the newsprint stamp on the show's oven. I did, Kim, and I have a feeling it's still in one of the boxes. We literally was running against time getting set up, and there's about 8 boxes just outside the door that have yet to be unpacked. I mentioned earlier, I'm going to upload some photos, hopefully tomorrow, of like, not a day in the life or a day of, but just showing you a little bit of the behind the scenes. When you see how many boxes I take with me when we go to do a show, it's ridiculous. I always still end up there without something. When we went to Highlight Crafts last week, I ended up there without any stamps, no stamps at all. I left the little wallet. I still can't find the little wallet. Could be anywhere. But I always have this fear I'm going to end up somewhere without something I need, or somebody's going to message in and say, well, how does this look with X, or how does it look with Y? So I try to take everything, including the kitchen sink, just in case. So yeah, when it gets to unpacking, it's a bit of a task. Yes, you certainly could, Fran. You could colour in. I used to have a card behind me, actually, where we did it with the misters. Oh no, isn't it? It's pens. Here you go, Fran. This is exactly what you mentioned. So this is the lattice being coloured in with alcohol markers. I really liked this because it gave kind of church window vibes, which I really liked. I just went for a simple butterfly on here because we did this after the Christmas celebrations last year, or Christmas crafting, but actually bringing that in, adding in some Christmassy touches to it, I think that could look really, really cool. So yeah, Fran, you're definitely on the right path there. Attach some small flowers and leaves to it, that would work really nicely as well. Breakfast collection, that's a different idea. You answered Alison's, when are we going to see you crafting? We'll do that.
You
We
really
should
shouldn't.
do that, shouldn't we? And Samantha says, I used to play the clarinet at school in the orchestra, but got thrown out for miming during a school concert. I used to do that, not with a clarinet, but I did used to mime in all of the assemblies. Couldn't think of anything worse than trying to sing in public. So yeah, that was definitely a mime game. And that, I think, catches us up to all of the comments. I did see one question earlier about my birthday presents. What had I got for my birthday presents? And somebody mentioned this the other day, actually. So what did I get for my birthday? Because I have a memory like a sieve. I got a very nice watch from Peter. I collect watches. Shoes and watches are my thing. Doesn't matter how fat or thin you are. A watch and a shoe will always fit. So to me, they are a great place to have a collection. So new watch from Pete, which was very, very special and very, very lovely and very, very nice. And I believe our cat is having a fit in the hallway. Would you like to go and explore Sherlock, and I'll do this bit?
He'll be fine.
Are you sure? You're just going to leave him? See, can we tell here who's the mean and who's the nice? So the cat meows more than once, and I go running, and he's fine. He'll be all right. He'll be fine.
He does this when he comes back in. He's very excited.
He comes in from outside, and he trundles up the stairs, and he's just like, if I meow, somebody will tell me in which direction to go to tell me where they are, what room they're in. So it's like his little search out code. So other presents, what else did we get? Zoe, dear friend, in the comments this evening, she has bought me an experience day for my birthday. There is a little booklet of over 2,000 different things you can do so far, which nobody see coming in my family. So far, the one that I've got my eye on is digger racing. Literally, like proper JCB.
He's so excited to do this.
I can't wait.
I'm going to tell you all when he's doing it, and then you can all come
There'll
along.
be photos I will have to share. But proper JCB digger racing. I've always wanted to do rally driving, or at least sit in a passenger seat rally driving. So I think it's that kind of mindset. And I just think it'd be really good fun to race a digger. How many people can say they've raced a digger? So I think that would be really, really fun, or a race to JCB. So I got that one. And then my sister and her partner have bought us tickets to a show that we're going to go see in July. I got some very nice trainers off my parents. And there, Gwen sent us some amazing brownies.
We could have one later.
We could, yeah, we're
There's
still
only a
working our way
couple
through.
left.
I'm trying to think of anything. Oh, Lynn made me this. I haven't shown you that. Lynn made it. I don't know if you remember, but when we did the mechanical collection, Lynn made this MDF plaque, and I raved and raved and raved about it. Lynn's actually made me one for myself, so I have that, which is very nice. Sharon on our DT, she sent me
bought you a car.
She bought me a Land Rover. I've said for many occasions on here that I'd love a Land Rover, so she bought me a little mini one. Lovely, lovely thought. Very, very sweet. Not quite the life-size one I've got hopes and aspirations of one day, but very, very nice trinket to keep. And she'd done it all up for 40 and it was very, very nice. So yeah, and I'm trying to think, have I missed anything or anyone? Probably somewhere along the line of but I was thoroughly spoiled. It was very, very nice chocolate
and bits from my parents.
Oh yeah, Pete's parents bought me some chocolates and gave me some money. So yeah, thoroughly spoiled. A lovely day. Very, very, very spoiled. There's quite a few people saying
Diane wants to do the monster cars.
I want to do.
We could
yeah,
have a go.
that'd be cool.
We could
have a DT trip.
Get them all out.
DT trip day out. You know, we could sit and do some crafting. Or we could do monster truck racing. Or we could do both. That'd be fun. We'll have to work on this. We could do a little DT explore or DT adventure. Okay, we're crossing the boundaries into madness, and I've been waffling lots, and it's been hours of us today. So I'm going to leave you in peace. But Pete, you do need to tell us who's won.
We do. So congratulations to lovely Yvonne Johnston, who said guitar.
Congratulations, Yvonne. If you could please message us to the page with your address, that's all I need. And to know if you'd like the cards that we've made signed. If you'd like to leave them plain, that's absolutely fine. If you'd like them signed, let us know and we will sign them for you. And then we can get them popped in the post to you all. Congratulations to Yvonne. Thank you all for taking part with this evening's silly question. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And if you did join us for the shows earlier on the craft store, thank you for tuning into those as well. And thank you for just being with us and supporting us and joining in with our chat. Now, I am looking for the list of stockists to just read through one last time, Pete, because I've put them down somewhere. And I don't want to have to try and do this by memory, because we all know what my memory is like. It's not that one. It could be any of them, couldn't it? So let's do it by memory, Pete. We can do this. We've got this. So it's Cheshire Crafts have got this collection. Into Craft have got this collection. Craft Mania has this collection. Picture Crafts in Australia has this collection.
Picture stamps.
Picture stamps. See, this is why we read it and we don't just do it by memory. Who else was on the list, Peter?
Barry and Julie from Craft Blitz.
Do not fear, I have found the list.
Hey.
Honestly, getting to a bad point tonight. So Cheshire Crafts, The Art of Craft, Craft Bliss, Into Craft, Affordable Crafting, and New Stockist Unicorn Crafts, Picture Stamps New Zealand, and Craft Mania have all got these products available for you already. Okay, we're going to say goodnight so we can go see the cat. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all again next Monday for our Monday night natter, which will be a play night, I believe. So we will just play, so get your questions in, and if I can answer them, I will certainly try to. Thank you all again for joining us, and we will see you next week. Good night from me.
Good night. Take care.
Bye all.
Bye.